I'm joined today by Nick Donato from Donato Financial Group. Nick, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Brian. Great to be here.
So tell me, what is Donato Financial Group? What do you do?
Donato Financial Group is a financial services firm that services individuals and businesses for a number of years. My dad started our firm. It's a family business from 1973. So we've been helping people for multiple generations, which is really unique. We have a long track record in the business. On the individual side, what we really do, I feel like we provide a protection or a bubble wrap to some of the most important things in people's lives. For example, we make sure that for our retiree clients, we make sure they don't run out of money before they run out of air. For our young families, we make sure that they have enough life insurance in place, that if God forbid there's an untimely death, their children and their dependents can live on with as much financial normalcy as possible. For our older clients who are maybe in retirement, and we make sure that in the event that, God forbid, they got sick and needed some care at some point in time, they'd ultimately have some insurance in place that would allow them to maintain their dignity, maybe be cared for in their home rather than a state-run facility.
You know, I want to ask about, being a family business and really coming up in the business with your dad, right? What was that like, learning from him and knowing that you had this path to run the business, right? Tell me about that.
So as a kid, I remember Saturdays and Sundays driving around with my dad, in his Cadillac, and dropping by all my aunts and uncles' homes to pick up premium checks and to drop off different life insurance policies and investment statements, if you will. And I remember walking into those homes. None of those people were my aunts or uncles, by the way. But I really felt like my dad and myself were part of the family. We were a direct extension of the family, and it was a respect that they had for him to help them through different financial planning and different insurance plans that they were setting up. So we would sit around on Saturday mornings, and I would see all these people, and I really, growing up, I never really knew what my dad did for a living. I never understood it. So I went to college, went to Bentley up in Massachusetts, studied finance and international business. Came out of school, I had multiple job offers in the financial arena. And Dad said, "Hey, Nick, why don't you give this a try? I think you might be good at it. I think you should give it a shot." And I did, and here I am going on about 18 years later. But the unique thing was seeing the value of what he did, all the families that he touched.
So Nick, look, we talked offline a little bit about, what you mentioned. People do business with people, and that's important. It's important about relationships. Your business can get wound up in jargon and terminology. Can you tell me about how that's important or not important and how you do business with people?
It's a very good point. Brian, so often individuals get caught up with rate of returns. Fees is a big one lately. What are my fees? What am I paying? And of course, we want to pay a fee, but we want to also get value for that fee, right? We understand there's always a value.
Of course.
But there doesn't need to be as much emphasis on these things as there is. We get so caught up in the woods with this mindset that we need to achieve the greatest rate of return, and my neighbor got 20%, why did I only get 8%? The main thing is to take all of that aside, stay above the noise. And what we do with our clients is to just make sure that they understand the markets are gonna go up, they're gonna go down, and they're gonna go sideways. The important thing is that we're there together and we hold hands and get through it together. That's number one. Number two, we just want to make sure that you don't run out of money before you run out of air. We want to make sure you have enough money to retire and be able to live your life. And ultimately, whatever you have left, we want to make sure that it passes to the kids tax efficiently, right?
Right.
So we don't need to get so caught up in the rate of return or the fees. Let's just focus more on what that money is really meant to do and put a little bit of purpose to that money.
Right. I wanted to highlight the idea of commoditization, right? That yes, we live in a digital world. There's a ton of competition, but again, this idea of doing business with people, right? What about the element that you're here, that you're in the tri-state area, that you're in New Jersey? How does that matter? Rather than people just taking a big national brand and saying, well, I'm going to call that 800 number and I'm going to get that. Tell me what that local difference is for you.
Well, the local difference is really important because that's the personal touch, the ability to reach out and call Nick or get together with me for our local clients. given our independence, we have access to all of the national platforms. So every major insurance company, mutual fund company, or investment house that's out there across the country, or the world for that matter, we have access to. It's just that we bring that national access through a personal, local touch.
Let me ask about trust. I mean, that's a big part of it, right?
Sure.
Having a team of people, and providing services for over 50 years, as a family business. What does trust mean to you in your business?
Trust is tremendous. Trust is probably the most valuable asset that we hold as a firm, but it's something that's earned. We earn the trust of our clients each and every day and continue to earn that trust. The hardest thing in the world is to let someone into your life, specifically into your financial life, into meeting your spouse, your children, etc. This is a really intimate conversation. So having that trust is important. I'll say with the trust comes a lot of references and introductions. 98% of our clients come to us through an introduction, through another family member or friend. We have one family right now where we have 4 living generations of that family.
Wow.
So we have a lot of multi-generational clients, and it's kind of like this web, if you will.
Sure. I want to highlight something you mentioned about referrals or about trusted advice, right? And people may come to you and say, hey, I need XYZ. Do you know somebody, right? Obviously, that's based off the relationship you have with them and the trust you've built. I want to ask you about the ABA, right? So we originally met through the American Business Associates. And what does that kind of networking or relationship building group do for you in your business? Tell me about that.
Well, it's a fantastic organization. The ABA has been wonderful. I've been involved, I believe, going on 4 years now. I believe this is the fourth season. It goes quick. It's been really great to meet other professionals in different areas. And what it's done is it's opened doors and created synergies or identified synergies with other professions that I might not necessarily connect with. Yeah. The beauty of ABA is that it's funny how these synergies kind of unfold with someone who is serving the same clients as me, not selling even remotely the same service or promoting the same service, but we're talking to the same people. And what's different is that I feel like the ABA creates a structured introduction that's a communicated process of working with the same person. And I'm specifically trying to ignore the word referral.
Right.
Because I look at each and every referral as truly an introduction to collaborate. And I feel like ABA does a great job at letting the clients know that we're in this together and this is a team out for your best interest, not just a handoff referral.
So Nick, lastly, let me ask you, you've come up under the wing of your dad, right? And learning the family business with those great lessons, What advice would you have for a young professional just coming out in the world? I mean, look, we're in a pandemic. It's a little strange circumstances right now. But what advice would you have, for a young man coming out of the Bentley colleges of the world, right? And making their way in the world?
Good question. My first piece of advice for someone coming out into this working world is to not get discouraged. I feel like there are so many things in this world to try to derail the general thought process and that hardworking mentality that was in previous generations that doesn't seem to be there now. I would suggest to keep it simple. I feel like a lot of individuals come out of school that I'm talking to right now and they have this big mindset, and which is great, but they're easily discouraged. I believe that there should be that encouragement to take a position and to grow into a career. Not look for that slam dunk, huge job right out of school, and that mindset of deserving that position because you came out of a big college. But start out small and grow. You'll appreciate your success more down the road if you start off small and grow into it.
Really good. Nick Donato, Donato Financial Group, thanks for joining me, Nick.
Thank you.